Hey guys, it's Ralph here, and in today's video, I'll tell you on how much would it cost if you're just about to move here in Melbourne, Australia. Before I start this video, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I've been living here in Australia for about 5 years now, and I'm a registered nurse here as well, so that's pretty much what I do for a living here. The most frequently asked question that I get from my fellow migrants is how much start living here in Melbourne, Australia. I kind of broke it down into three main aspects that you wanted to focus on when you're considering moving here in Melbourne. First thing would be your rent. Second would be your groceries, and third one will be your transportation. So I believe those are the three main factors that you needed to focus on when you're allocating your budget when you're about to move here. So let's go to the first one. So basically, rent. So when I arrived here about around 2015 or 2016, we moved in a suburban place 25 minutes away from Melbourne CBD. So it's a good spot. I mean, it's a good way to start because it's much cheaper, and if you're going a bit further away from CBD or from Central Business District of Melbourne, you will tend to save a lot more money when you're just starting. It varies on different locations too, so just to give you a roughly idea how much did I spend on my first couple months of staying, I paid around 150 bucks per week. If you're going to look onto different websites, or if you're going to realestate.com.au or flatmates.com.au, they will advertise their rent price as on weekly basis. If you're just gonna do the math, if you want it to be like budgeted for about on monthly basis, divide it by 7 and then multiply it by 30, so you'll get the monthly cost for your weekly rent. If you're gonna live closer to the city, the chances of paying more is higher because people here in Melbourne tends to pay a higher price if they're living closer to their work. So like in my case, I live like at the moment, I don't live in the same spot that I used to live about 5 years ago. So I live right now about 12 minutes away from city. So that bumped up my weekly rent, I would say around for 230 bucks a week, which is still okay because I'm not really sharing any rooms with other people. So I got this place with my partner. That's a good thing if privacy is important to you. And one more thing, if you're gonna live in Melbourne City or in the central itself, you will tend to pay much more higher, I would say. I don't really have an idea how much it roughly costs. I'll let you guys do the research on that, so just go onto Facebook Market or realestate.com.au or flatmates.com.au. So most of the cases, if you wanted to save money, you might have to share a room with someone else so that you could live into those spots. And one more thing, I believe that if you're living in southeast or eastern suburbs, that would bump up the price a bit higher compared to western suburbs and northern suburbs, due to the fact that most of the infrastructures are much more developed in that place compared to western suburb. And in northern suburb, it's a little bit higher compared to western suburbs. So anyways, let's move on to the next aspect, which is groceries. So groceries, it varies on each person. So I'll give you an idea on how much I spend on my groceries. I myself and my partner is a big saver. We live frugally, so we spend between around $60 to $80 a week on our groceries. That's for both of us already. You have your choices to do your groceries on 4 different common groceries here, like Woolworths, Aldi, Coles, and IGA. They do sometimes put some specials on their products, so I think that's a good way to save some money as well. And in our case, we do it on Aldi because we don't really need to wait for the special because it's much cheaper compared to Coles and Woolworths. Half of our groceries we just go to vegetable and fruit market, so that's how we manage to save money. So I'll go deeper into that in a different video, so because I'm going out of topic anyways. Like I said, in our case, 60 to 80 bucks. Sometimes if you don't really care about budgeting, I would say probably around $120 a week will be the max that you could spend if you're going to buy your groceries. So yeah, 60 to 120 bucks, just to give you an idea. And that varies for each person, okay? It could be cheaper, but it will be hard. But like I said, I'll make some different video about it on giving you guys some tips on how to save money on your groceries. And in the last aspect will be transportation. So pretty much when you just land here in Melbourne, you don't have your car yet, so you have to have something as a mean of your transportation. And here in Melbourne now, we got some Mikey Pass. There, that's Mikey Pass. This train pass lets me travel around Melbourne metropolitan area. Let's just start off by how much would this thing cost alone. I think this costs around 10 bucks, but you have to top it off with some weekly or daily pass or whatever. How much would you willing to spend for your transportation? Like in my case, I do top it off every month. That's normally cost me around $144 or $145. However, if you don't want to top your Mikey pass, your Mikey card with a monthly pass, I think the fare from going to point A to point B within the Melbourne metropolitan area would cost you around $4.80. So that will be good for 4 hours. But going beyond the 4 hours, they'll be charging you again depending on the distance that you're gonna travel. But I think you'll be maxing it out until on $7.80, and they won't be charging you beyond that price. And I think the weekly pass costs around 40 bucks, so that's still cheaper compared to your just topping off your Mikey card on a daily basis. But yeah, if you're looking to work and using train as your main public transportation, definitely do a monthly pass. Also, just to keep in mind, if you manage to find a place and job inside Melbourne City, you don't have to pay for a Mikey fare if you're traveling on free tram zone. However, this doesn't apply if you're gonna travel using bus or train inside Melbourne City. So just keep that in mind, guys. Those are just the 3 main aspects that you need to consider when you start living here in Melbourne. Just some few more stuff, but it's not really that important, but I'll tell you anyways. Like miscellaneous, like haircut, that would cost you around $10 to $40. That's for men's haircut. Women's haircut, probably much more expensive, I would say, starting between $15 to 60 bucks. If you're living nearby Melbourne City, some cheap hair salons that would charge you only $10. So I think those are worth it if you're not really fuzzy about your hairstyle. Another miscellaneous, I would say, probably takeaways or eating outside. So each meal would cost you between around $5 to $20. So $5, I would say. Normally they're putting those type of prices when they're about to close. So that happens normally during 6 in the evening until 9 in the evening. It depends on what day it is. If it's the weekend, normally they start putting that price around 9 o'clock or 8:30. I'm not sure. And if you're like going to eat on fast food or in food courts, so that will be around $10 to $20 for each person. So it really varies on each person on how much are you willing to spend on your meal. So I think that's the rough idea on how much the spendings here in Melbourne, Australia, if you're going to move from overseas. So I hope I answered all of your questions, guys. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. It helps our channel to grow and will definitely motivate me on creating more content in the future. And also, if you're a nurse as well that's considering on moving here in Australia, I got my partner Anne who created a video in the past. I'll put the link in the description box below. So definitely a good watch if you're considering on moving here in Australia. And smash the like button, guys. It definitely helps the channel on putting my videos on the map. And so yeah, like I said, comment down below if you guys have any questions and if you have any requests, and I'll try to create a content about it. So see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.